I'm driving the all-new 2023 Toyota Prius, all new for the 5th generation, 2-liter 4-cylinder engine capable of 150 horsepower, and they've beefed up the electric side of things in here. Now we have 111 horsepower motor up front. Now this is an all-wheel drive model, so you get an additional 40 horsepower in the rear. That is an upgrade of like what, so 7 horsepower in the previous all-wheel drive Prius. So we have 60% more power in this model, 196 horsepower, versus the outgoing models with the smaller engine and just 121 horsepower. This thing also will be able to get you an all-wheel drive. They're saying around 50 miles per gallon, 49 in this limited trim. I don't have enough driving under my belt to confirm that. The brake pedal in here is nice and progressive. The vehicle does feel nice and light. This is the top trim. This is the limited all-wheel drive. It has every single option on here. It has the automated parking system. It has a 360 camera. It has a digital rear view mirror. It has a heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats, the big 12-inch screen, the JBL audio, the double sunroof. I mean, this thing is loaded up to the max. Going to cost you $38,595. Now, let's get into the gas a little bit. This is the first time I've driven the all-wheel drive model. I've driven the front-wheel drive model earlier. That vehicle, it felt very quick, very responsive. It doesn't really feel much different here. Maybe you get a slight push in the back. Now, this also has the assisted driving feature on here that stops the vehicle for you. It's like it has radar cruise control on. It's called predictive driving systems. I personally don't like it. You can turn it off by going to the settings here and just turning this little button off on the MID. The MID to me is in a perfect spot. It sits right at the edge of the glass, so it almost acts as a head-up display for me. The steering wheel is nice and low. I feel like I can rest my hands on it. I have a lot of leverage over the steering wheel, even though it doesn't take a whole lot of energy or muscle to move this very light steering feel in here. Now you can see the diagram that shows what's going on with the battery system, the recharging, the supply of power to the wheels. If I press the gas uphill, you're going to see only the front doing work here. The rear wheels didn't do anything there. That's interesting. So I look forward to doing the 0 to 60 where I can see the rear wheels chipping in as well. Now, speaking of the battery, it's just under 1 kilowatt hour. It's a new lithium ion battery. It's 15% more potent as well as 15% more efficient to my understanding. There's a nice Ionic 5 there in front of me. Don't see a whole lot of those down in Florida, but we're just gonna hammer off the line here. And we see that electric motor being powered. And there's 60. 0 to 60 uphill there in 7.77 seconds. No Prius has been able to do anything close to that previously. You're lucky to break 10 seconds on the old Prius. There's one to my left. I'm kind of in Prius country here in Southern California. And yes, now it can do 0 to 60s in around 7 seconds and still get you 40 plus miles per gallon. I'm driving in pure electric mode right here, just kind of coasting. And what's the ride feel like? Well, these 19-inch wheels are definitely firm. These roads in California, while beautiful, twisty, beautiful environment, they're not quite as smooth as my streets in Southern Florida. So these 19-inch wheels aren't going to bother me much if I get this vehicle, which is a good chance I will. And I can't wait to share my driving impressions, my ownership impressions, if everything lines up with this vehicle. What are some things about this new Prius that disappoint me? I think the cargo area, it's definitely a step back, especially versus the 4th gen. It's a little bit worse than even my 3rd gen. The headroom in the very back isn't great, but I mean, I don't have my head touching unless I'm sitting in the middle seat back there. So unless you have a bunch of 6-footers back there, you should be fine. I have plenty of legroom in the back seat as well. Another thing that's kind of disappointing is that there's no double glass rear anymore. It makes the vehicle look more sleek for sure, but the visibility is very limited out of that back window. Having this digital rear view mirror helps tremendously, but the quality still isn't that good. So that's unfortunate with this 360 camera system. When I put this in park here, when I press the camera view here, big front camera and very average resolution. For how futuristic this car feels and looks, the camera technology is not that great. And when you have such a small vehicle that has parking sensors on it, I really don't think the 360 camera is necessary. There's the old Prius there. She's looking at me. 0 to 60 that time, 7.54. Another, wow, look at that view. Another thing about the Prius that isn't perfect is that the XLE and the Limited have a fix-a-flat kit. There's no spare tire unless you get the base LE grade. So the LE, you know, get the 17-inch wheels, but you can't get the bigger screen in it, for example. It's very, very basic sort of vehicle. I'm gonna put it into sport, torque brake, and go. Oh, yeah, she boogies like no other Prius before. That about 7 flat, 7.06, 0 to 60 there. And this thing can scoot. So there you have it. It'll do 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. I've heard like my friend Sophie on a Redline Reviews, he's able to get it or brake 7 seconds. So it is possible, but on average, it'll probably be around 7 or a little bit mid 7s if you're not torque braking it, which most people are not going to be torque braking their Prius. Now this Limited is the only way you can also get the JBL sound system. The volume knob is really far away from me. I guess they did it for the passenger. I wish they would have brought it front and center here, just like we see in Lexus cars or even the new Toyota Crown. I do have volume here on the steering wheel, and while that's great, I do prefer this knob. Also in this Limited grade, you cannot have a power front passenger seat. It's adjustable, 8-way adjustable, but it's all through levers and the slidey bar. So that is also kind of a head scratcher here. So I'm done harping on the Prius for its shortcomings because there's no perfect vehicle, but what this vehicle does so well is it gives us stunning looks. I guess I could probably go forward here. This vehicle gives us stunning looks. It gives us so much power. I think it's more than enough, to be honest. Like, I think 150, 160 horsepower would have been perfectly fine for the average Prius buyer, but I think Toyota's like, we don't want the average Prius buyer anymore. We want someone who's going to bring some youth into the brand maybe, and it's still affordable. And I don't know, like the new Prius doesn't feel like a Prius. It doesn't look, it looks so much better than any other Prius before it. It drives more fun. Like it's more, it doesn't feel like it's gonna fall over or tip when you're in the turns. And the overall power boost is just so much fun to dig your foot into the pedal. Yes, it's a bit droney, but that's kind of just the nature of Toyota's eCVT hybrids. Now I'm very excited to test the Prius Prime, which will be even quicker than this vehicle. The Prius Prime will have 220 horsepower, while this all-wheel drive model has 196. Well, like I said, it'll do 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. The Prius Prime will be able to beat that. Unfortunately, the Prime does not have all-wheel drive, so at least you have that option here in the XLE. Actually, the LE can also get all-wheel drive as well with the 17-inch wheels. When it comes to the efficiency of this vehicle, with such a short time driving it and me having too much fun putting the pedal down, I can't really tell you what my miles per gallon would be. And plus, I haven't done any highway driving either. I've been getting around 40 miles per gallon in the new Prius, and that is with an extremely heavy foot. Now I'm going slightly uphill here, and I'm still in eco, underneath the eco bar, and I'm still in fully electric mode. So this vehicle does like to stay in fully electric mode as long as possible, given that you don't have a heavy foot. And it's done a great job maintaining this speed, even though I've been going uphill. The engine still isn't kicked on yet. I've lost 1 mile per hour. There's 2. So I'm starting to lose speed there. The engine had to kick on a little bit to help me up the hill here. And when the engine kicked on, you can feel the vibration a little bit. It's not nearly as disconnected from the engine, let's say, as a Lexus hybrid. They have more sound deadening. They do a lot more to smooth out the experience. Don't get me wrong, it's still very smooth here, but you can definitely tell this is not a luxury vehicle compared to the Lexus hybrids that use this very similar technology. I'm still going slightly uphill, still in fully electric mode, and just babying it after the 0 to 60s, I'm getting over 45 miles per gallon at this point. That's a cute dog. Oh my gosh, that's a cute dog. Is this a Suzuki Samurai? At first I thought it was yep, that's a Suzuki Samurai right there. Heck yeah. You don't see too many of those left on the road, followed by a Land Cruiser. I wonder if these guys are doing some off-roading. Now, in terms of noise, I don't really get any wind noise. Now, I haven't been on the highway yet, so that's a thing. Road noise, I don't really get any of that either. The only time I get a good amount of noise is when the engine fires on, when I dig into the pedal and you get the loud engine effect. I wouldn't be surprised if Toyota wanted a little bit louder of a engine note and exhaust note, because this thing does pack a punch for the first time in a Prius. Ergonomics in here are great. My elbows fall just perfectly on the armrest, and my hands just naturally fall on the wheel here. I feel like I have everything to me, or near to me. I have a little shelf here for my fingers to interact with the screen. All these buttons are very easy for me to interact with for the climate control. I have lots of USBs in here. There's a hidden compartment. Cup holders are right there. The wireless charger, it's the first Toyota wireless charger that actually works consistently with my phone. Don't know what's going on there, but this one's doing a good job. The shifter is pulled back a little bit. Previous Priuses, it was located in this general area, but then now they pulled it back, and your hand can kind of rest on it, even though it feels a little too small for my hand to be really heavy. I prefer a Meteor shifter, to be honest. Now, the engine is eager to help out with acceleration, very much like when I tested the new Corolla hybrid. They're both 5th generation hybrids. This one just has a much more potent gasoline engine. But the second you get off the gas, the car is more than happy to get right back into battery mode. So now I'm just eking out those electric miles as best as I can right now. Both screens, whether you get the 8-inch or 12-inch, do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly. You can also connect multiple phones Bluetooth to them to this vehicle at the same time, so that's pretty neat. Now, I drove a 4th generation Prius today. The thing's pretty slow. It's still fairly decent handling, surprisingly. But it was able to return at 58 miles per gallon in similar driving. Now, I didn't floor it at all. I just kind of babied it. I still don't think that this vehicle is probably going to be maybe in the LE, because the LE can get 57 miles per gallon, at least according to the manufacturer estimates. I don't know with these 19-inch wheels, to be honest, if you're going to be able to stretch that sort of MPG up to close to 60 miles per gallon. I just haven't seen it here, but again, my testing has included me pushing this vehicle pretty hard. Man, this Del Mar area just north of San Diego is so beautiful, and there's just Priuses everywhere. This is, like I said, Prius country, and finishing my drive on the new Prius, it's really good. It's more fun to drive than any Prius before. It's better looking than any Prius before. It's close to the same efficiency, pretty much, than ever before, and it has better technology than ever before. And just it's a vehicle that's something to aspire now to compared to any other Prius before. Maybe the Prius Prime has some aspirational values to it, but now the Prius, even the standard Prius, is got the power, it's got the looks, it's got the tech. It's the full package, and I don't know if Toyota was expecting to get such good impressions from the public on this vehicle, but I think they're going to have fun trying to meet the orders and meeting the demand of the prospective buyers. So I'm going to end my drive with the all-wheel drive Toyota Prius 5th generation. This is the limited with every single option ticked. Thank you guys for watching. Take care of yourselves, and hopefully I don't run over Joe Rady here. That's and Doug Nemuro. Hopefully I don't run over him as well. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.